myself. Give myself a hand. Um, welcome, you guys. I am the light of the Leo. You can call me Jennifer, and that's my brother Jonathan. He
What's
is
up,
JoJo
y'all?
Speaks. Welcome to the show. We are talking about Netflix, The Glory. We are on episode 9. We are getting closer and closer to our retribution, our glory. We're making it to the end. So join us on this ride that we have here, and thank you guys for watching the videos. I appreciate it. So let us get started. Join us. To get started with the opening scene of episode 9, just to forewarn you, I do feel like this was kind of like a filler slash give us just a bunch of information episode. There wasn't a whole lot of razzle dazzle, but when it happened very well for me. So I know you may not remember this episode, possibly Jonathan, but
It'll come back to me as you describe it, for sure.
of course, because I take detailed notes in my notebook, my handy dandy notebook.
Yes. Come on, Blues Blues.
So we start off with Myungo, okay? Dearly departed, Myungo. May he rest in peace. Let me tell you something, Jonathan. I was really wondering, like, how are you feeling? You kept on saying, I think he might be dead.
Right, right.
So we never talked about this. So, like, how are you feeling about that?
How was I feeling just about the fact that he might be dead?
Mm-hmm.
I was devastated, of course, because I wanted to see more of him. I thought in my opinion,
Yeah.
for my sake, he was integral to the plot. For my sake, he was integral to the plot. Um, and Also, I also knew that he didn't die for a good reason. I knew that there was no good reason that he died. There was no good reason that he died. He didn't deserve to die. Um,
Mm.
and I knew it was unjust. So that was also a part of my anger. But I was just devastated. I really
Wow.
was. Um,
Justice for Myungo.
Justice for my man.
Well, so we open this video up, this episode up with Myungo calling everyone, okay? Calling,
It was
and,
nice to
and
see him again. It
yeah,
was.
it was nice to see him again.
It was
I'm
nice to see him on
curious
my
what
screen.
happened.
It definitely brought a smile to my face for sure.
Praise God.
Yes.
Uh, he was calling everybody, okay? Of course, calling everybody to start his process of bribing everyone. To make money, of course, because he's been the ugly duckling, or maybe just more like the poor duckling in the bunch,
Right.
and he was trying to basically extort people.
Which is why I wish he played Jay June's part and Jay June played his part. Because I feel like he would have
Mm.
I would have been able to enjoy him so much more. But go
Oh.
ahead. Go ahead.
So while he was in June's closet, we finally get the scene of him in June's closet taking all his good coats, his good watches, taking inventory of the things that he wanted from him, and he did take those things. And he was bribing people with, of course, the Sohi info, trying to get info on Sohi, like, what do you know about it, and all that stuff. And of course, inviting his love. Hey,
And by
John.
this time, hadn't Moon Dong Un already told him
Yes.
who killed her?
Hmm.
Okay.
And he invited Hey Jong to come out with him to Russia.
Run away with
Um,
me.
and he was like, "Aren't you? Don't you see? I'm trying to tell you I love you." And she was like, and threw the phone.
While she was
As
trying on a dress, child.
Lord Jesus, while she was in siesta too, had that young lady that they abused, getting clothes for her and shoes for her and bags for her and all that stuff, man. Stuff that she, of course, could not purchase, but you know.
Okay. Well, I mean, with her new fiance's money, I'm sure she could afford anything
Child,
she
I
wanted.
guess. And then he tried to bribe a Dungoon. Like, I'm the one that gave you the information. What are you trying to do? He's like, well, I could tell them that you're doing this. That. Like,
I'll tell him
pump your
too.
brakes,
I'll tell him
sir.
myself.
Okay. Shoot.
Okay. And didn't
Mm.
she smile? Didn't she smile when he threatened her?
Absolutely, because sir, what do you think this is? This is years of work that you're not gonna put down a drain. You're not my only person I can use as a pawn in this space. What are you doing?
And that just shows me how, I won't say unintelligent, but how unaware he is at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it has anything to do with his intelligence, but he's definitely unaware of who the players are and who's in control. Because
Which
he
is
like he's in control with this information. And this is what happens when you feel like you're in control. Just like on Survivor. And whenever you're on Survivor and you feel like you, the big
you
boss,
riding high.
you feel like you running things, and next thing you know, you're getting your torch snuffed by Jeff. Okay, go ahead, Jennifer.
Ciao.
Torch
So
getting your life, honey.
now the last episode, episode 8, we pretty much end with Do Young walking into Dungoon's apartment and seeing that Jin is in there. Okay. And it's just so weird. And I have to say that people that have that kind of what is that word when you have the privilege? I guess privilege.
Entitlement.
Entitlement, thank you. Entitled people just have the audacity to basically put everything on everybody else. So when he walked in there, she's like, funny meeting you here. And then she grills Do Young, her husband, and he flipped the script. And because he had to flip the script on, because she was like, what are you doing here? You know what I'm saying? Why are you in relationship with Dungan? What are y'all doing together? What's going on or whatever? What do you know? Because of course he's not telling what he knows.
Right.
And then he said, well, have you been bullying her? How bad was the bullying? And she said, it's just a story. It's just a story.
We
It's
just
nothing
didn't get
serious about it.
along. We just
It's
didn't
just
like each
we didn't
other.
get along. It's just a story. And then she said, and then she's told him, this time you've disappointed me. And I'm over here thinking, like, girl, I'm over here trying to figure out what's going on. And you are in the apartment of the person that you said you can't stand / you are good friends with now.
Now, before she said that she's disappointed in him, he asked her, why are you the main character in this movie that we see on this wall? If y'all just didn't like each other, if there was no abuse, if there was no torturing, why is it that this elaborate plan has you as the center, honey? Okay.
Oh, child. Yeah, that's crazy. Um, that whole argument back and forth was crazy. I'm happy he's not a man that puts hands on women because she would have caught something.
He reminds me of Jessel's husband, holding,
Hmm.
sort of kind of holding her feet to the fire as much as he can, as safely as he can, without
Without
really damaging what they have, you know?
exactly doing his best. So Do Young sees pics of his child. I put his child in Jejun. That picture was sent to him. That day he was cussing people out right in front of the little Yeso.
Okay,
God bless
people
her
driving
sweet.
near him and his daughter while they're trying to have a conversation.
Can't you see there's a child here? Cussing and fussing.
I'm still trying to figure out what kind of attributes does she get from either one of her parents, because she ain't like neither one of them names.
Thank God for her real daddy.
Okay.
Okay.
Like
So,
Russell Wilson is Future's real daddy. Okay, but you know that's another story for another day.
for another time.
Okay.
Okay. So, we find out that she was moved from the mortuary down to the freezer in the hospital by Yo Jung's daddy
Mm-hmm.
because, of course, they felt bad. The mother of Sohee, she's not only deaf, but is really trying to get the people like, this is not my daughter. She would not be killing herself. Y'all need to look into this. And I believe that's why dad kept her body just to try to be able to hold on to something so that they can investigate further or be available for them to investigate.
Right.
It's just so sad. Um, but the next scene is Dungon comes home. Home. Home is where the heart is. That's where Yojun is. Good times. After that, Sarah is being called in for questioning. She's coming off of methamphetamines. Okay, so she's really
Is it meth or is it
jittery.
heroin? Because I think it's heroin.
Oh, I think it is heroin.
It's heroin. Yeah.
Yeah, she's coming down off of heroin
Mm-hmm.
and the weed. She didn't. She had weed and she ran out of weed and she ain't got no more heroin. Heroin. You sure that wasn't meth? I think
I'm
it's
pretty sure
heroin.
the people that I've been watching on
Mm-hmm.
reacting whenever they saw the drugs, they pretty much said that it was heroin. So
It's
that's why I'm
heroin.
saying that it's heroin.
Oh yeah, because oh yeah, because of the moving forward. Jae he uh he had to let the what's the name detective know that Myungo hasn't been to work in 3 weeks, and Jae
I was
uh
about to fire his ass too. Okay, he was this close. Okay, if he was still here, he would have been fired.
if he would have just came to work one more time.
Okay, as soon as he walked through the door, he wouldn't be able to get through the door good. You're
Okay,
fired.
but he got his severance pay out your closet, so I think he's all right.
Okay,
And
well,
and then
he ain't right
also,
though, but you know.
well yeah, but but what was kind of crazy to me, but it does make sense because Jae is on this whole laser focus situation of trying his best to make sure that he can get Lil Yesol, his daughter, his biological daughter, in his life, or he'd be able to take care of her. I feel like he thinks it will bring some kind of meaning to his life to have a child because he certainly doesn't have the woman that he loves. So to have a child, I guess that would mean something because he's all of the other people that he's been with is just fleeting women because he's been in love with Jin. You really got me feeling sorry for that man. It's really sad.
How
Though
do
he
I
is
got you feeling sorry for him?
because you keep on talking about how you feel sorry or um how you see him
I
and can
do.
empathize with him more,
I
and
can.
now I'm able to see him like, wow, he really is trying to be a father to his daughter. And Jin,
It's a
somebody
good
that,
trait of his. It really is a good trait
yeah,
of his. Yeah, it
like
humanizes him.
he wants to be a father. He may not be a father or father material,
Hmm.
but he wants to be. And I think that's really nice. And I think
That's
it
it.
really is sad. You can just see all of his anger when he yells at your Jen. Is like, why did you take that away from me? You
Right.
took the opportunity.
It's a desire of his heart. It's a true desire of his heart. And I was going to ask you, do you think he wants Yeso or Jin more? But I think he wants them both
I think he wants
equally.
both. He wants a
He
family.
wants them both equally. Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, Jae he does his best to make sure to implicate Do Young, saying that, well, we've talked and he was looking for Myungo himself, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on with that. For the murder. So, okay, child. So Donggun, she meets with Yeonjin at her job. She just got finished telling everybody about the weather. They're walking towards the vehicle with her flunky.
Hmm.
Her flunky look at Donggun like, oh no, here she is.
Hmm.
She walked up to so Donggun walked up to Yeonjin and she says, of course they trade. trade pleasantries somewhat.
Hmm.
And Duncan was like, I want coffee. You want coffee? Come on, let's go get some coffee. It's not like this conversation wasn't gonna go. And as the flunky, I forget her name, I'm so sorry, y'all, but as she puts the clothes inside of her car, because apparently she brings a whole wardrobe every time she come to work.
Hmm.
She
She needs the options.
Yeah, she dropped some of the clothes, and we were able to see her burns that mirror Dungun's burns. And apparently, she is very much so traumatized by it. Um, but when Dungun walked up to Yeonjin, she did say, "You could have asked for the passcode."
Right. Meaning you didn't have to break into my apartment building, ma'am.
Yeah, you could
Okay. You
ask.
didn't have to destroy my knob, honey. Okay. Thing can't even close now because of you.
It's not
Not
like I
like I
was
live
living
there,
there.
but it's the principle. It's the
Okay,
principle
it's
of the
the
matter.
principle.
Okay.
Okay, shoot,
Anybody can
but
go up there and mess up my mass collage, okay, of your pictures.
but they over there drinking coffee. Number one, I cannot stand what Yeonjin has on at that moment. She has this powder blue shirt on. It's really, really puffy, and the collar was super huge and long. I did not like it. Okay,
I
maybe
love it because it says money.
I
Because
guess it does.
it
I
says
guess
opulence. See, I live for the wardrobe
it's too marriage
in this series because the rich look like the
look rich. They do
rich,
look like
honey.
money. I give you
And
that.
they give us that, and that's what I love, the opulence, honey. I love, even though I don't like her, I live for the fashions, honey. She know how to dress.
She got the fashions. She
Hmm.
do. God help her.
I mean, Jay June always wearing Fendi on the neck, honey. Always got Fendi on the neck. I mean, it's it is what it is. When you got it, you got it.
You got it. And they do have it because they had the money to have it.
Hmm.
But we don't have to, and they don't have to be like Hey Joan up in the dry cleaners stealing other people's clothes. Anyhow, so Young Jin was like, "You have no proof," as they were sitting at the coffee place, and Dongo said, "Well, I posted this video online, which was the video of her at her apartment, Young Jin at her apartment,
Hmm.
breaking in, but it didn't get any traction. Maybe I didn't have a good, title on it or something like that, or didn't post any names." And of course, Young Jin continues to be disrespectful as per usual. Um, and she also bought out Dungan bought out the incident forms from when Sohee was burnt up and all that stuff, and showed her that you can see that Yeonjin was just a little bit shaken, and she balled it up. She's like, "What is this? What were you thinking in that moment?"
I think Young Jin is trying to be strong in this moment. I think she's trying to, even though we've seen intimidation on her face, even though we've seen torture on her face in the past in scenes, even in Moon Jung Un's presence. Remember the scene when Young Jin was looking through the glass of the classroom, and Moon Jung Un was standing behind her daughter Ye So with the scissors on her right side, honey. You saw the terror in her eyes. So the thing is, like, I don't understand why she wants to try to put up this front like she's all big and bad right now. But I think she feels like she
But
has to
that's
do
what she
that.
knows.
That's all she knows, right? And I feel like she feels she has to do that so that she's not giving any leadway to Moon Jung Un's plot.
Man,
She doesn't want to give her any room at all, and I get that. You got to do what you got to do.
you got to. And so Dongun was like, "I'm gonna give you one last chance, okay? Go ahead and turn yourself in." And Young Jin was like, "I didn't do anything wrong." And she says, "You have been in hell since you were born, and you should thank me."
Thank
Basically,
you should
my
thank
bullying
me.
has pushed you to become a teacher and do so many great things in your life. You could have stayed in hell where you were. But it's like it's just so crazy, as if she didn't have any ambitions for herself before she got uh traumatized by the bullying.
I don't mean to go off topic, but you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of the episode of Martin called "Sophisticated Ladies," when Shanae and Laquita go to this club, and so at the end of the episode, Shanae and Laquita are invited into the club, and Pam and Gina are not, and so. Shanae and Laquita allow, Pam and Gina to get into the club. And Pam and Gina's like, oh, yeah. And Shanae's like, yeah, you in there. You sure are in there. Now that you're in there, thank me. Okay? You didn't thank me. Thank me. Okay? You need to thank me.
No,
Okay?
we're certainly not going to thank Jin for
No,
torturing
we're
people.
not.
But she said basically went forward to say, as you're going through all this trying to bring me down, I'll just go ahead and find another straightener to use on you.
And so and the next line for Moon does it in for us. Go ahead and let us know what Moon's reaction to this was.
She says, our meeting has erased my guilt.
Yes.
You threw away the lifeline that your husband gave you.
You threw it away, girl. Out the window.
Child, and it's like, it really made me think like, so she really was getting soft on the situation. You know what I'm saying? Meeting with, of course, meeting Yesol, being around the daughter, seeing how sweet she is, seeing what she has to go through in her life, and having two daddies. Okay.
Right. Meeting her
And
husband.
meeting Do Young. He is a decent person. He may be a rich something or another, but he's a decent person. He was able to talk to the woman. He never dismissed anything that she said. He just said okay and went to look into it for himself. Like, it's weird how Yeonjin has some somewhat decent people in her lives, and they pretty much gave her the opportunity to have a pass. And she said, "Well, if I turn myself in, then everything crumbles to the ground. I'm not doing that." Well, I gave you the chance. So okay. And after that, Donggun, it was her time to talk to the police, to that detective person. Apparently that detective person don't believe anything that she be saying, because yeah, he don't believe it. And I just think it's sad, but we'll move forward to more of that in a second. Myungo left a message for Do Young and left it with the assistant. Now that all of this is going on, and now Do Young has to be interviewed by a freaking detective about Myungo's death or disappearance, however you want to call it, because there's now drugs involved. So we want to see what they're more interested in the drugs than him being gone, which is sad.
Sad, but you know what? Just like in the first 48, when homicide detectives are questioning people, and the person who was killed was dealing with drugs, they're like, we don't care about the drugs. We just want to
Just tell
know.
me. That's all I want to know.
So when you're in a certain department, you focus on what your focus is. You really don't go outside of that. So when homicide is not your thing, or when missing persons is not your thing, then you're only
But it's
only
like
going for that one thing.
over there in Korea on this particular situation, they could be looking at all of the situations on this
They
one.
could be looking at it all as a whole. Yes, you're right about that.
Yeah. And so they the secretary, she gave Do Young this file or whatever with the voicemail that Myungo left, and basically said, if you want to know about the person that's been sleeping with your wife all this time, give me a call. Do Young was very upset, but he'll never show you that. He just threw that thing out the window.
Now, do you think he knew that Jae-jun was sleeping with his wife before he got
Yes.
this? Okay.
Because the first thing that he did before he heard that on his way home, I guess, was look at the picture that was sent to him
Right.
of Jae-jun and his little Yeso
Yes, so
child, and
it is all coming together, honey.
coming together as one. So Yo Jong, he prematurely made the tent that Don't
She
go.
literally told him that she was going to set it up for herself. She literally told him that she was going to set it up when she got back home. She literally told him, literally,
Literally.
specifically told him,
Specifically
I will do it myself. I
when I
will do
get
it
to the
myself when I
house.
get good and ready.
Oh.
But that's the kind of man she got.
And just looking at the situation, he set that thing up. He put all kind of
Okay.
pillows
Got a
because you
welcome mat.
got a little welcome mat, got pillows with happy faces on it, welcome home up in there, and little lights going on up in there. And she said, don't you think it would have been better to set it up upstairs because it will be kind of difficult to transport it upstairs like this? And he was seriously like, he a whole doctor, a whole surgeon. Guess I should have.
Do you think he did that on purpose because his room is downstairs, right next to the tent? The door to his room is kind of like right next to the tent.
I think he just wasn't thinking. I think he wasn't thinking, period. He just wanted to do it for her.
I agree with that. I agree
Wanted
with
to
that.
make something pretty for her and just
Hmm.
be done. Right after that, Do Young notices that all the clothes of Yeonjin came from Siesta. Okay. All of the bags on the top shelves. It's
Beautiful
like
blue bags. Those
beautiful,
bags are gorgeous. Like they look like
beautiful,
money, honey.
gorgeous bags all over their closet because it's his closet too. He's just really realizing like all of this
This
is
man been
from
all up in my house,
Siesta.
all up in my wife. Okay.
Ooh, child. So, Yeo Jong decides to have a romantic dinner outside in the cold. And she was like, "Why are you doing this?" He said, "I look up romantic romantic dinner opportunities or whatever." He said, "This is why I wanted to have a house with a yard. First of all, the yard is this much. Okay, ain't but so
Right.
much yard over there,
Okay, where the
but
grass at?
whatever.
Barely
But
any grass.
whatever, you know what I'm saying? Whatever makes you
He's
happy, my
doing his
dear."
best. He's doing his
Yes.
best.
And he decided that they go outside, and he said, "Well, also maybe I should get some music." And she was like, "No, we don't need music." Well, okay, well, I'm gonna sing for you then. Me, 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 me,
What he
me.
literally said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
What you want to?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I'm gonna get
1, 2.
ahead. Let me get my voice together, because I'm gonna
And
sing
he can
for you.
sing too. Like he got a voice on him, child.
Well, actually, he didn't even get to the point of singing on this time.
Not this time, no.
She said, "You know what? I'm feeling sick. I feel like I have a fever." So she got up to leave. And he quickly stood up in slow motion, of
That
course.
was the only time that I've seen her lie. The only
Yeah,
time
she
I've
she
seen
lied
her
for
lie
real,
on this
and
show.
she wasn't playing. Like, look, no, this is foolishness right here. So
So
I'm
why?
getting up and leaving.
And it's so interesting that she didn't want to hurt his feelings in that moment. I
Yeah,
think that's why she said that she was sick because she didn't want to hurt his feelings. And I think that's really sweet that she didn't want to hurt his feelings. But girl, just sit down and let the man serenade you, honey. Okay.
well, some
While y'all
people
eat your
find that
fondue.
embarrassing.
While y'all eat your fondue, honey.
Child. But she got up, and then he got up, came up behind her, and felt her forehead, and he said, "In my professional opinion, I think you're faking it."
Okay.
I think it's so cute.
It's adorable.
It
It is
is.
adorable.
It is. And he's like he's doing like the Steve Urkel thing, just wearing her down as much as possible. Wearing her down, being as sweet as possible, because ain't not near one of not even not near another nigga. It's just a person has not been doing that for her like that on that scale, not that level.
And you
Not
know
even her
how
mother.
and you know how I know the wearing down is working because he hasn't stopped trying. And
Yes.
Moon has not asked him to stop trying.
Or get out my face or stop texting me. She hasn't said those words. She may not answer every text, but she ain't said stop texting me.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Child. So I call them the bully team. Um, they realize that Youngo called each and every one of them. Apparently, they don't talk a whole lot.
Right.
And not only hit everybody up, but asked them all about Sohee. And then all eyes went to Yeonjin was like, well, You had this alibi, but weren't you the one that was with her though? Like, what did y'all do? What happened? Said her paranoid self coming down off the drug. She just like, well, they have to be coming for you. And of course, the issue is a little bit bigger for her because it's not just about somebody being missing, it's also about the drugs that she would get through him and
Right.
use his name for prescriptions and stuff like that.
Exactly. So
So
she would be connected in that. Yes.
she was very nervous about all of that. Let's see. So while that was happening, while everybody's bringing all that up, she left, of course, unhappy at the fact that everybody was looking at her. And in the meantime, Jejun, he was thinking about the fact that as long as that man divorces her, I'd be able to have my family. So if I bring this up and tell him, or if he somehow finds out, he'll divorce her, and then you know what I'm saying? He's thinking about all that.
Mm-hmm.
So on the way out, Yeonjin makes a call to her corrupt chief, okay, and ask about that name tag, like where is it at? What's going on with that? And then we have a flashback about the name tag. What do you know about this name tag, Jonathan?
I know that the name tag, either, well, what I know leading up to this, or what I know now that I've seen the whole thing.
Leading up to this.
At this moment, I didn't know what the significance of the name tag was,
Okay.
because I wasn't paying attention the way that I should have been paying attention. I really didn't pick up on the name tag until maybe like 2 or 3 episodes later. Just that's
Yeah,
just
and
being
that's
real
okay.
with you.
That's okay.
But I because I hadn't put together yet the killing as of yet. I really hadn't put
Yeah.
all that
There's only
together.
been like slight flashbacks of it, just little ones. Yeah.
Exactly. And so it really didn't come together for me, honestly and truly, until episode 15.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, the name tag is like a piece of evidence that should be able to place Yeonjin
And
at the scene.
I did not realize that until episode 15. Yeah.
And that's okay, Jonathan.
It is
We,
what it
we,
is.
we still love you.
Yeah.
And that's what matters.
I was just so heartbroken over my man dying, honey. Or
You
my
just,
man possibly being dead.
yeah, of course. Well, like, come on. It's been 3 weeks. We know
Doesn't
he ain't
matter.
left because all his luggage is at the house. Even the ticket has not been used for his flight to Russia. And why would he go to Russia? Anyway,
I don't know. That didn't make no sense to me at all. Why would you want to go to Russia? No offense to all the Russians out there who might be watching, but
I think the only thing I'm thinking about with Russia is cold. I think that's all I'm thinking about.
yeah.
But he had the furs, so
Cold and tennis players, because there are a lot of tennis players that come from Russia.
truths. So the flashback goes to Sohee's death. And of course, what happens later on, Donggun, she actually drops, this little piece of information at the police department, right?
Mm-hmm.
She was hoping that will open up Sohee's investigation again.
Right.
And of course that didn't happen because that corrupt chief got that same envelope with Yeonjin's name tag and just called it a suicide and kept it pushing and gave that name tag to Yeonjin's mother. She said she should burn it.
He's the reason why it was called a suicide. Must
Yes.
be. Got it. I just realized that. Okay.
Yeah, he said he called it because, of course, he was working with Yeonjin's mother.
Right.
So
Right. Okay.
that's how that worked out. That's why it worked out the way it did. And so, as we leave that flashback, we go to present time with Donggun talking to the detective, and she basically said that that name tag. She thought it. She said it was weird that when she bought it in, she noticed that in the evidence of this death, that name tag was not included in that. And of course, now we know why.
Mm-hmm.
Because he made sure that corrupt cop made sure that it wasn't included in that. He was over there trying to make his money.
Right.
And let's see what else. Yeah, there was no mention of it, and nor did it help open up the investigation. So she was, like, whatever. And then the detective was like, we basically don't believe it because he said 99% of stories like these aren't true, and defamation is a serious crime. And he had the nerve to try to ask another question after he told her that defamation is a serious crime. So pretty much after he asked that, she's like, well, I'm not sure if I can speak on that because defamation is a serious crime. Like, I can't even talk to you. Like, what's up? How'd you feel about that? It felt like she was talking to a brick wall. You think that the authorities would want to make sure that justice is served, but they're just not doing that.
This
And
is a
this is why she
reflection.
has to do what she does.
This is a reflection of the way that some Americans feel about the justice system in America.
Agreed.
Um, the fact that we sometimes, I will say sometimes, I won't say
Yeah.
most of the times or a lot of the times, but sometimes we feel as though law enforcement is no help. And because of the way that they have to do things, because they have to do things in certain order, because they can't jump to conclusions the way we want to jump to conclusions. Although
Mm-hmm.
Moon knows everything, and when I say everything, I mean everything, because she understands the fact that he is limited.
Yes.
She knows that there's really nothing that she can say in this moment,
Yeah, to
and the
make him
fact
believe
that
anything.
right, exactly.
I was frustrated seeing that again.
she probably feels as though even if she had the evidence for him, he still wouldn't be able to figure it out.
I absolutely
So
believe that. Like, she would have to have video evidence of that.
specific video evidence, surveillance video
And he
of
might have to move something for that.
exactly. And so that's why I'm so glad she doesn't overreact. I'm so glad
Yeah.
she's so calculated, because she's so calculated. That's why she says, well, since defamation is such a bad thing, I can't have
And
anything more to say
also,
to you.
she doesn't overreact because they've already disappointed her. It's like, if you disappoint me, if you make me upset, if you make me sad, you can't do it again because I know it can come. You know what I'm saying?
And from that point, from the time that she's disappointed, she has no more expectations.
None.
No
Gone.
more expectations whatsoever. I can't expect
What's the point?
anything out of you anymore. You are nothing to me. You mean nothing to me. You give me nothing. So go away. You know?
God bless you.
And I love that. I love that because,
I appreciate
again,
that.
she knows everything.
Exactly. And
She know
after
more
that,
than you, detective. Okay? You trying to, child.
after that, Young Jin, her paranoia, of course, is rising, and she has a talk with her corrupt chief. And he was like, this whole thing is 18 years old. There's nothing that they can do to reopen all of this. It's not going to happen. She's over there in the mortuary rotting, and they won't be able to get anything out of her. Basically pumping her up. And she said, you know what? That's exactly what I needed to hear. Thank you. And then she and then she said, which one is your motel? Mm-hmm.
Okay, that you built thanks to me.
Hmm. I thought so. Did you get that information on that car that I asked you about? Okay. Moving on. Next scene is heartbreaking. We see Hyung Nam run over to her daughter. When we see her daughter, she is bloody in the face.
Mm.
Daddy done put hands on her again. Hyung Nam gives her apologies to her daughter and just sit there and tell her how beautiful she is and how she's basically a light because she's so wonderful and have to be brought up into this. And she continuously apologizes, and her daughter is just so smart and so present and understanding of the moment. And she
And
tells her mother, mhm,
that's why I'm glad that she's the age that she is, because she
yes,
sees what's going on and she
she ain't stupid.
completely understands what's
Exactly.
going on. And I'm so glad that she doesn't, because some children in this moment would see their mother as weak for not leaving their
Yes.
father in this moment. But she's so supportive of her mother. And I think it's because she loves her mother so much, and because her mother has tried her best to protect her from her
As much
father.
as possible, yeah.
And she sees the effort. You know, some kids will see the effort, and then because nothing was actually done at the end of the day, then
Still
they're like, well,
resent
you
her.
didn't, they'll see it as if they didn't do anything, or they made no effort
Yeah.
whatsoever. But she sees the effort that her mother is making,
This
and
is a
that's why I
wonderful
love it.
child.
And I didn't realize that the daughter was getting abused until this scene. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that really broke my heart. But again, um, Hum Young, is that her name? Hum Young?
Hyun Nam.
Hyun Na. Hyun Na is
Yeah, okay, hold on. It's Hyeon, Hyun,
Hyun
Hyun, Nam, Hyun Nam.
Hyun Nam.
Nam. Yeah, there we go.
Hyun Nam. Hyun Nam is clearly my favorite character in this entire series.
Amen.
Hands down, all
Hands
day,
down.
every day. I ride
Can't
for
say I won't
her.
stop.
Okay,
And she is a great actress. I've seen her in other stuff, and she's just, believe me, Jonathan, she's just as good, if not better. She's good.
right. Like
I
she
want to
would
shake her
probably
hand or
have
something.
Oscars and Emmys at the wazoo if
She
she
needs
was
them.
acting over here in America. Well, no, she probably wouldn't get them because you know how Hollywood is. But you know, if she would deserve them, okay. But
That's the point. She deserves
right,
them.
exactly.
So yeah, her good daughter just basically says, "Look, it's not your fault. I understand. Don't you apologize to me. You protect me. You raise me as good as you can. None of this is your fault." She even told her not to go to the house because she was about to go stand up for her daughter. She said, "Don't go over there. He done bought 3 bottles of soju. He's gonna be drinking. He's gonna be up for a long time. It's gonna take him a long time to go back to sleep. Leave it alone. Let's just sit here." And Hyunam did her best to just sow affirmation into her daughter in that space. My her Sona, that's her name. Ain't that a pretty name? My Sona
Yes.
is so beautiful. My Sona is so kind and wonderful. And she says in Chinese it means kind and bright.
And
Her
I love
Sona.
how strong both of them are. How so
Yes.
strong they are in this moment. Even though they're in this terrible, horrific situation, they're still
Yes.
so strong in the midst of it. And you know, when you want to leave someone, you have to have a plan. You have to have a plan to get away.
And thanks to Donggun, we have something going because you
Right.
can see that Hyun Nam was a little nervous about asking this to Sana, but she was like, "Are you okay with going away? Like, do you want to leave?" And she says, "Yeah, like to America." She's like, "Yeah, yeah." And she says, "Yes." And I know that, you'll be right behind me. I know. Oh, it's so sad. I love that whole moment. This son and this daughter, Sona, and mother coming together and just building each other up in a space. It's like in a rock and a hard place.
And it's
Because it's
not
not,
that often that we see good mother-daughter
nah, you
relationships
don't
in
see it
TV
often like that.
shows, like
Not like that.
really strong mother-daughter relationships in TV shows. So that's why it's so refreshing to see.
Yeah. So the next scene is another strong mother. Young Jung's mom. She comes out of surgery, and Young Jung goes straight to see her and gives her a hug. She's like,
Gives
get
her
off
a
of me.
hug. You gonna get blood on you,
Get
son. Okay. I
off.
love it. I love it.
And
I'm mad we can't see her hair, but it's okay. It's all right. She in her
surgery,
scrubs.
Jonathan.
I know, I know. I just want to see it flow in all its glory, honey. All of its perfectly styled glory, honey.
Coiffed hair, honey.
Yes.
But he says that if I took my scalpel and used it as an executioner sword, would you try to stop me? And she was like, "Oh, this is serious. Something This is serious." And she thought right back to the man that killed her husband. And she was like, um he sexually assaulted women. He killed people, and my husband still looked past that to try to help this man, and he ended up killing him. And she went ahead to say, like, apparently, I thought that you were like your father, but it looks like you're more like me. and she pretty much gave the yes. And she says, um, your your daddy was good, yeah, but you're mean like me. That's what he said. But the only thing she said, she didn't exactly give a yes. She says, "I still love you" and all that stuff, but just keep it a secret.
Hmm.
Just keep it to yourself. What I know that you had all the feelings in this moment. Talk about this moment, Jonathan.
Well, to be honest, I feel like, I'm questioning, why did she tell him to keep it a secret? Because why would he tell anyone that what his plans are? But then again, just to be safe, she might not know how he would go about doing what it is that he
You
wants
got
to
to say it
do.
out loud.
So she wants him to know that he needs to keep it on the low ski. So I
Absolutely.
understand that, but the way she just handles herself, and I think we've already seen the scene of her visiting the serial killer
Yes.
at the prison.
Last episode.
So when she said that, I see that you're more like me than your father, I
Hmm.
saw the connection between them two, and the fact that that
Yeah.
sinister side really comes from Mama.
And she's
Mama
with
don't
it.
play no games.
And he also explained like it's revenge for my friend. And she's like,
And I wish we would see more of that sinister side of her in action. I
she need a show.
wish we would see more of that.
I think I saw enough. I enjoyed her all the way
We
around.
we got a glimpse
She
of it, when she was talking
first
to that serial killer. We saw a
and
glimpse of it there. That
and
was
her
good,
just
but I
being
wanted
a mother.
more.
She's a really good mother. That's what I love.
She
And,
is. She's an
and we
amazing
really see it
mother.
at the very end of the season.
I was about to say I'm acting like a greedy bottom. I want more. I want more.
Yes. Anyhow, so they told the nurse lady, oh yeah. Dungun told the nurse lady, the nurse from the school, that she is avenging Sohee for her mother because we saw the scene where Sohee's mother, she's deaf, and she was basically on her knees, like, do you know Sohee? And, basically said, I need your help. And and Dungun feels like Sohee is with Dungun in these efforts, making sure that she's avenged in these
Hmm.
spaces. So I thought that was nice. And the nurse lady, she just felt so sad because there's nothing that she was able to do in those spaces. All she could do was create the incident report. But of course, the higher ups, they just ignored all these things. And this is
But
why this is why that teacher did right now. Go ahead.
But I'm so glad that they have her in this show, because
Yeah.
she's just another bright side, of
Yes.
this show. Even though she really doesn't do much in the show, it's another
But she did.
person. Well, yeah, she did do quite a bit, but at the same time, I love the role that she's playing in the show, where she is another ally,
Yeah.
for Moon Dong Un. I love that she's an ally for her, and she's
She
supporting her in her endeavors.
absolutely. She's doing everything she can do. And I think it's also kind of stems from the fact that she couldn't do anything back then.
Right, right.
And that's kind of it's discouraging. You have people that want to stand up for the children, but you have these other adults that are fighting for these children that are the violators, not the violated.
Right.
And that messes me up. I try not to think about that. That's gonna make me upset. Anywho, Myungo threatens to switch teams while on the phone with Dunghoon. And there wasn't much to this particular scene because, of course, he's like trying to get, saying, what if I went over to the other side or whatever with all this? And she says, don't forget, I've already fought 5-1. Y'all ain't gonna get Dungoon. That yo, you just gotta remember that. Okay. That really blessed my whole spirit. What was your thoughts on that?
This is another reason why I wish that he would have played Jae Joon's character, because I feel like Jae Joon is so much smarter than Myungo,
Uh-huh.
and
Because he's the upper echelon. Of course he's
right,
smarter.
and it just disappointed me that he feels like he has the upper hand when he just does not in
All he
any
had was a
way,
little
shape,
piece of
or
information.
form.
He don't have no money. He
And
doesn't have
right,
anything.
and he feels like he's running things, and it's like, dude, like
And it's
you're
like, remember, Donggun was the one that came to you with the stuff.
Right.
She ain't tell you everything. You stupid enough to think that's what she did. You stupid enough to think she's stupid after all these years, and she's doing this now. What makes you think she gonna half step on anything that?
His biggest wrong, the biggest thing that he did wrong was underestimate her.
Absolutely.
He still sees her as that little girl that's being tortured. He still sees her as that little girl that's standing outside in the rain with no bra
And
on.
see,
He
think
still
about it
sees
though.
her as that little
She had a
girl.
bra on. They just want to see her white bra.
Oh, yeah.
But the ones that didn't have the bras were the hussies, the bullies. They were up at church without bras on, with white shirts on, trying not to get invited to church again. Anywho, Jin, she gets off the phone with Young Go as she is setting up her meeting with Young Go. Okay? She says, I'm with some girls, but I'll meet you at 11 o'clock. And the camera pans down to her shoes. Them same green shoes.
You know what I don't understand? I don't understand why the show tried to convince us that there was someone else besides Young Jin that did this to Myung Oh besides her. Like
I
we
don't
we we
know.
know it's her. Like why'd y'all have to put any mystery around it? I feel like,
At first, there was some mystery. At
for
first.
you, for
At
you,
first, I didn't know what was going on. Because we did, before we
as
even saw the
soon
hit,
as soon as
I
I
knew it
saw
wasn't Dumb
them
Gone. She
green
ain't that stupid.
shoes, as
Uh huh.
soon as I saw them green shoes, I knew it was Young Jin. I
But
knew it.
everybody had the shoes, though. Dungoon had the shoes. Jong
because
had
the
the shoes.
because the person that we know who is literally tied to those shoes, she's literally tied to those shoes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she's the closest one to those shoes. Yes, yes, the Moon Dong Ung has those shoes. Yes, Sarah is painting the shoes. Yes, the flight attendant, I believe she might have had the shoes
She
at
had a
one time.
pair. Yeah.
I had a pair of shoes. There's only one. For me, I just knew it was Young Jin from the get go.
Yeah.
But you know, it's a
To
TV
be
show; they have
honest,
to give you suspense.
I didn't think it was anybody else though. Like you're right. Like who else would it have been? Like who
Who
else is
else?
explosive like that?
Who else?
But
And who
don't
else would have had the motive to kill him as well, or to do
and
bodily
and,
harm to him?
and Dungoon blessed him with it. Anyhow, Dungoon realizes that the pic of Hyungnam's husband was gone as she was cleaning out the pictures in the apartment. Um, Apparently that was gone. She realized that, and right after that, we see video of Yeonjin's mom going to the safety deposit box to make sure that that name tag is still there.
Mm-hmm.
And then Yeonjin meets up with Hyungnam at the spot. Yeonjin knocks on that window. Get out of the car. Is this your husband? Get out the car. And Hyungnam, she's just trying to, she's just keeping her cool, like,
Here go this. Here she go with her foolishness and tomfoolery.
oh, Lord Jesus. So this one for me was a little bit of a filler one. It was nice to see that Donggun had her upsetness, the fervor reset in her by just meeting one time with Yeonjin, and her disrespectful behind. I can't stand it. But we are going to make it on to number 10. Wow. And after that, we got 6 more to go.
Yep.
We're going to make it one step at a time, y'all.
Absolutely. Well, you guys can follow me on Instagram. My Instagram is JoJo_speaks3020. My Facebook is Jonathan Lee. My email is williamjonathanlee@gmail.com. I do have a YouTube channel. It's JoJo Speaks. So find me on YouTube, subscribe, like, share, comment. I post videos every Thursday night at 9:30 with hot topics and social commentary with my co-host Genesita, as well as my brother-in-law Tyrone and our good friend Mike. Join us to talk about the latest hot topics. Excuse me, and social
Lord.
commentary. Join us on Thursday nights at 9:30, y'all. JoJo
Join
Speaks
us
on YouTube. Yes.
And of course, I am the Light of the Leo. You can call me Jennifer. You can follow me at the Light of the Leo on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Just type in at the Light of the Leo with no spaces, and you'll be able to find me just fine. And I do go live every Monday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, y'all. It has been real. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Thank him, Jonathan.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate all of your views and your subscriptions and likes and shares and comments.
And let us know how you're feeling about this episode. Like I said, I thought it was a filler. Let us know what you think about it. And if you have any questions or anything of us, go ahead and put those in the comments as well. Thank you guys. We love y'all. Have a lovely day now.